listening to the CIP podcast, the Study ABROADcast, Season 2, Episode 9. I'm your host, Ava. In this show, we explore the world of study abroad, offering advice, insights, and travel stories, bridging perspectives and cultures along the way. On this episode, we'll be speaking with the Education Abroad advisors from the Center for International Programs at the University of Guelph. Let's get right into it. Today on the show, we are pleased to welcome Ashley and Mike. To get started, can you tell our listeners a little about yourself and your role as an Education Abroad advisor?
Sounds good. Thanks, Ava. And hello, everyone. My name is Mike, and I serve as an Education Abroad advisor for students in sciences and engineering at the University of Guelph. And I've been in this position for about 3 years now. Behind the scenes, I'm an avid traveler myself and a strong advocate for study abroad and how such experiences can help students strengthen their intercultural competencies. I know for myself, looking back on my life, I was lucky enough to have some study abroad experiences that really opened my eyes to different perspectives. And I feel like in this position, I have an opportunity to encourage students to do the same. So for me, it's a great role that fits my interests as well as my passions.
Yeah, hi, Eva. Thanks for having us. My name's Ashley, and I'm also the Education Abroad Advisor at Guelph for students specifically in arts, social sciences, and business. I've studied abroad a bunch through my undergraduate degree, and as well, I've been an international master's student. I truly believe in education abroad, and I think these experiences offer great value in broadening your mindset, both academically and personally.
Thank you, Mike and Ashley. Could you tell me why you wanted to pursue a career in international education and student mobility?
Yeah, so for me, I think it stems from just being passionate about my own international student experiences and wanting others to have that same opportunity. It's such a unique experience to get to live and study in another country. And I wanted to inform students about these opportunities because we all know travel becomes a lot harder to fit into your life once you start working and building personal relationships. So I just knew that when deciding on my career, I wanted to be in an industry where I help people pursue international opportunities and capitalize on travel throughout their time as a student.
Thank you, Ashley. What about you, Mike? Would you like to add something?
Sure. So essentially, I wanted to pursue a career in international education, predominantly because from a personal note, I was always moved by my experiences abroad. I spent time traveling to about 65 countries, and during that time, I really had an opportunity to learn about myself and learn about the world. And essentially, being able to do that from a career perspective just allows me to do the things for work that I enjoy in my everyday life.
That's interesting. Thank you for sharing your experiences. So what is it like to work within the field of international education, Mike?
So with the pandemic, it's definitely been an interesting time to work in the field of international education. There are a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, from travel insurance to travel restrictions to government advisories. And as we all know, the world is constantly changing. So part of our role is to have a pulse of what's happening in the world. So I definitely enjoy that because it allows me to just stay afloat into world events. And specifically within this industry during this time, there's really been a push for equity, diversity, and inclusion. And I also sense that international offices are looking more at this field from an environmental sustainability perspective. So things are changing for the better, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
And Ashley, what's the best part of being an education abroad advisor? And on the flip side, what's the most challenging aspect of your role?
I think for me, the best part of being an education abroad advisor is getting to talk with students about traveling. Because for me, I really do enjoy getting to advise students and talk with them and help them make decisions on where to go and work through all the requirements and make sure that they're able to travel and gain credit, for their time abroad. I think the most challenging aspect of being an education abroad advisor is keeping track of all the world events. Like, especially right now, there's so much happening in the world. So it's important for me to stay up to date with how these events could possibly affect the students that I work with.
Definitely. As the education abroad advisor, why do you think it's so important for students to consider studying abroad, Mike?
I would say there are three main reasons why students should consider studying abroad. So, first, they have an opportunity to experience a new culture and meet new friends. Secondly, they have an opportunity to strengthen their intercultural competencies and develop these skills that will hopefully help them transition into the workforce. And lastly, I would say there are a number of different programs and supports available to students. Whether you want to travel for an entire semester or perhaps participate in a shorter group-based program such as a field school. So for a lot of students, this might be their first time leaving their home country. And that can be overwhelming. But when you participate in such a program, you have supports that are available to them before, during, and after. So I think students should definitely take advantage of those supports and services available to them.
Ashley, what are some of the different programs available to students at the Center for International Programs?
So students are able to study abroad in a variety of ways. We have our regular exchange programs, summer exchange programs, summer field schools, summer language programs, and then we also have research abroad. So our most common would be our regular exchange programs. So those last for about a semester or a year, depending on how long the student would like to go for. Then another popular option would be the summer exchange program. So studying abroad for the summer instead of during the school year. And then another option would be the summer field schools. So these are Guelph courses taught offsite in a different country. And these last for about 2 to 6 weeks. They all vary in different ways, but our website goes into even more detail on each program.
Thank you. What are some of the challenges that students face and what support is available to students before, during, and after their exchange, Mike?
Great question. So we know that students face a number of obstacles when it comes to studying abroad. Predominantly, there is financial concerns, but luckily there are a number of travel grants available to students, and I would encourage students to learn about the new Global Skills Opportunity Funding through the Center for International Programs. We also know that for a lot of our students, this might be their first time going abroad, so we help prepare students to meet the logistical and planning needs required for their experience. So we run an online pre-departure program called Depart Smart. We also run a Safe Travels Essentials Night to review all the safety issues related to travel. And we host a Travelers Connection Night where students have the opportunity to network with past students as well as incoming exchange students to learn more about their country. Academically, if students have questions about credit transfer, they can always meet with their program counselor so that their courses are pre-approved before going abroad. And our partner institutions as well, they offer a number of supports and services for our exchange students and particularly for Indigenous students as well as students with accessibility needs.
Great. Thank you, Mike. Ashley, you're an education abroad advisor. Where do you think the field of international education is headed, and how do you think it will be impacted by the pandemic?
Great question. I think with Canada lifting the non-essential travel ban this week, we will start to see more movement again across universities in different countries. I feel we will see students maybe being more precautious and understanding the value in things like health and travel insurance in the future now that students can see how those services can be really important when going abroad. I do feel generally optimistic on a whole, though, about study abroad. I think we may even see a surge in students wanting to start to learn more about study abroad and exchange opportunities as a student through the university, since they weren't given the opportunity to really travel at all during the last 2 years.
Mike, how can a student connect with their education abroad advisor if they had questions about the study abroad program?
That's a great question. Students can always reach out to their education abroad advisor over email or book an appointment with us. I would also advise students to check out the CIP website for more information about the various programs and supports available to students. Throughout the year, we're always available to help students out with their individual questions, and we look forward to getting to know the students and learning about their experience as well.
Well, that's all for today's episode of the Study ABROADcast. Don't forget to explore your own study abroad opportunities on the CIP website, uogrowth.ca/CIP, or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Our Instagram handle is CIP_growth. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Ashley and Mike for sharing their advice, insights, and travel stories. Stay tuned to our next episode where we'll look to unpack the study abroad experience even further.